If your company is considering a major ERP upgrade or replacement, you already know this is one of the most consequential decisions you'll make. The ERP will run major portions of your business for the next decade or more. The cost initially and ongoing will be significant, and the implementation, if it goes sideways, can drain your organization for years. What most companies don't know going in is that the ERP industry is structurally designed to work against the buyer, not maliciously, but structurally. The sellers have perfected their process to exploit the captured customer. Most advisors don't have the capability or resolve to counter it. And buyers, even sophisticated ones, constantly overpay, accepting one-sided contracts, and end up dependent on a system and a vendor relationship in which they are a minor partner. That's the problem we exist to solve. I'm Mark Engleman, founder of Engleman Associates, and for nearly 30 years, in more than 1,000 ERP advisory engagements, we've worked exclusively for buyers, helping manufacturers and distribution companies find the right ERP, secure the right deal, and protect their long-term interest. And now, with AI accelerating everything we do, we can deliver more depth, more precision, and better outcomes than ever before, in a fraction of the time traditional consulting requires. Let me show you how. So first, we'll talk about the buyer's challenge, which is the seller's playbook, which buyers are up against. Number one, the sellers sell vision, not reality. Sales culture is built around optimism and momentum, and difficult topics are avoided, capabilities overstated. And second, pricing is designed to hide the real cost. Initial quotes obscure escalation mechanisms that compound over time, and buyers who don't know what to look for overpay by 50% or more. The third is contracts are entirely one-sided. Default ERP contracts give the ERP vendor unilateral control over pricing, terms, and even access to your own system. And finally, they know you're trapped. Once you're live on the ERP, switching costs and risks are enormous. Sellers know this, and it's exploited over time. This isn't unique to one or two ERP companies. It's structural to the industry. And the only effective counter is advisors who have seen every tactic across every major ERP seller in hundreds of engagements, and who have methods and resolve to systematically address it all. The next topic is AI transformation. A few years ago, my company, Engleman Associates, made a decision to rebuild our entire methodology around AI acceleration. Not AI washing, not adding a chatbot to standard consulting practices, a fundamental rebuild, every major analytical task reimagined around what AI can do now. The result is something that wasn't possible before, a result we did not expect, much less understand when we started. So we'll look at traditional consulting. They sell hours, they take weeks of time in discovery and workshops. Their vision on candidate ERP is limited or worse, biased. The vendor demos is a primary method to evaluate and screen. And commercial terms, they're so murky, it's such a black hole that they are largely not addressed. And the overall process is limited by the sheer inefficiency of manual methods. Now, with the AI-powered approach that we've adapted in recent years, the AI processes, or we call them accelerators, are everywhere across the entire methodology to speed things. The ERP candidate list is from targeted AR research. We don't talk to vendors until the very last stage. The hours of time to get to know the client for the purposes of process discovery is hours, not workshops and weeks, 20 times faster. And the targeted methods investigations allow us to screen down to not even needing classic demonstrations, but they're still able to be done if needed. Commercial terms, very comprehensive process to analyze them using AI again. And then the analysis depth overall is just at a level of speed and depth that was previously not possible. The difference isn't speed alone, although we work at least 3 times faster than traditional consulting, and on specific tasks like contract review, at least 50 times faster. The difference in depth is also profound. Our AI methods analyze your situation against a large knowledge base of business process topics to establish your likely priorities. It creates ERP lists based on real merit, not endless industry hype. It scans every clause in a vendor contract against over 50 specific objectives and generates corrective language. It scores every implementer of a specific ERP against 10 relevant weighted factors and a lot more. No consultant, no matter how experienced, can do that at the same depth and consistency. And we've been doing this work for 30 years, and we know exactly what to ask the AI and how to validate what it produces. Key decision points are always validated by our team and our client. Now we'll move to the first of our three major services, ERP strategy planning. So maybe your existing ERP can be upgraded. Maybe a targeted enhancement is the better investment. Maybe replacement is clearly warranted, but you need a defensible data-backed analysis before going to the board. That's what our ERP strategy planning service delivers. So let's look at three scenarios. Scenario A is status quo. You can build upon the current ERP with no major changes. Scenario B is major upgrades or enhancements to existing ERP. And scenario C is new ERP, assuming being properly selected and implemented. Our AI analyzes your company's specific situation, strategy, business processes, current application landscape, costs, and risks, and produces a weighted scoring across all three of the scenarios I just mentioned. The AI acceleration points in this service are listed here, and it begins with our process to quickly zoom in on the business process functions that are legitimate priorities. The second is weighted scoring to really put structure behind the analysis and reduce the subjective opinion. And the third is a thing we call the enterprise discovery repository. And this is where all the findings that come from this work are put, highly organized for further use in a potential selection or a potential major upgrade or implementation. The results are a clear strategic direction backed by calculated analysis, not a consultant's opinion. And the work you do here builds forward for everything that follows. The second service is our trademark soft select ERP selection process. If you've determined that a new ERP is the right path, the soft select methodology is our AI accelerated offering to find the right ERP, secure the right deal, and protect your long-term interests. Let me walk you through how it works. Step one is the business process review. Again, we use the AI-powered 20% critical business topics to quickly identify the priorities, both strategic and functional, that should be used to test candidate ERP. We also produce a diagram, which we call the enterprise business application diagram, but it shows the ERP boundary, which is a very handy thing to know. This takes hours, not weeks, and produces a foundation that other work, especially implementation, can build upon. The second step is the education of the client team. Before any vendor contact, we bring your full selection team up to speed on how the ERP industry works, what vendor tactics will be likely encountered, and what to expect in the process ahead, the selection process. So an informed client team makes better decisions and is harder to manipulate by the sellers. Step number 3, ERP candidate list development. The entire candidate list of every ERP we evaluate as having potential for your company is developed with no direct contact with ERP sellers. Our AI researches the complete ERP landscape, scores candidates against your specific attributes, and produces a weighted, ranked list. Then our team challenges that output with your team to explore qualitative information on the candidates. And from this, a small group of ERP is chosen for detailed, direct evaluation. To this point, no vendor influence, no relationship bias, just objective analysis to get to a list of 2 to 4 for a detailed review. Step 4 is the finalist evaluation, and the steps I'll mention here all run in parallel as they are pursued. Once the finalists are confirmed, usually 2 or 3, our team and the client core team evaluates them simultaneously across the following dimensions. Number 1 is functionality. And AI has already pre-scored each finalist against your selection priorities before this point, and now targeted investigations are conducted to go confirm the findings we have. Number 2 is ERP access cost. We go through a process to align the actual buyer needs to the vendor offerings. which also is AI accelerated. Then techniques are used to control the cost, which is the basis for controlling ongoing cost. Easily 50% lifecycle savings over a typical purchase arrangement. The third of 6 is we have AI scan vendor terms against approximately 50 buyer control objectives that we've built over the years. And then corrective language is generated for problems detected. And then the iterative discussion work is conducted to fix the issues. The fourth is implementer strength. Again, we have AI score implementer candidates across 10 weighted factors, and then we interview the finalists to confirm status that we've calculated. The fifth is hosting options. Most selection consultants never evaluate this. We assess hosting standards, managed service provider options, and contractual commitments for each hosting option available. And the sixth is support standards, response time, SLA commitments, version, support policy, all evaluated and fed into commercial terms objectives. And step 5 is the selection decision. AI consolidates all evaluation findings into a comprehensive scoring matrix. The core team reviews it, and the full client team receives a formal debrief. The leading vendor gets a conditional acknowledgement, while the other finalist vendors stay in play until the deal is done. The emphasis on maintaining a genuinely competitive selection environment is one of the most important contributors to the cost and terms outcomes our clients achieve. The released vendors receive a professional handled close. The selected vendor knows they've earned it. The third service is pre-implementation readiness. So selecting the right ERP and securing a good deal is necessary, but it's really just warming up for the real race. The implementation is where results are achieved or lost. Few people have happy memories of their last ERP implementation. These are hard projects that need informed, resolved leadership. Buyers should lead, but often they don't know how or they don't make it happen. Implementers know this and do what they can, but they have no real accountability and don't have to live with the results. It's a bad dynamic, and our pre-implementation readiness service is designed to change that. Before implementation begins, we put a comprehensive buyer-led control structure in place. Number 1 of 5 is to deepen the business process discovery, which is building on the enterprise discovery from the strategy work or selection work, and to go deeper into developing the priorities that should drive the implementation design. Number 2 is the implementation control framework. This is helping the buyer put in place rules and governance structure and personnel requirements and time frames to keep things moving at the proper pace and not depending on the implementer. The third is the enterprise discovery being finalized. And this means it's organized, it's searchable, and is ready for heavy use during the process design phase of the implementation. And it's owned and controlled by you, not some third party. The fourth is the implementer immersion. Instead of the implementer conducting weeks of billable discovery interviews, we immerse their key personnel in targeted tours of the enterprise discovery, your enterprise discovery. They then start informed on what matters. And we estimate 80% reduction in the demands on your team compared to the traditional implementer discovery approach. And the fifth is an implementation kickoff preparation. Every element is confirmed about what we just talked about and solidified for a formal launch. The result is an implementation that starts from a position of buyer control, not the typical implementation grinder in which cost and calendar time escalate while results are diluted. The results I've described aren't theoretical. We have many clients who have been through this process and will tell you directly what it meant for their company. We're happy to connect you with references that match your industry and situation. So in closing, ERP decisions are made once every 10 to 15 years. The outcomes, good or bad, follow your company for all that time. The ERP industry invests heavily in the sales process. So the best counter is to have advisors who understand that process and who have highly tuned AI tools that cut through the noise and deliver relevant information and fast. We work exclusively for buyers. We have no relationships with the ERP sellers or implementers that influence our advice. All results delivered are focused on your interest. If you're at the beginning of this process or even just wondering whether now is the right time, the best first step is a conversation. We'll tell you honestly what we think based on your specific situation. No obligation, no sales pressure. That's how we've operated for 30 years. That's how we'll operate with you. Thank you.